All right, here is where we are at. We have the brake job done on this tractor. However, the 3-point hitch has a few problems, which we've got that all fixed here right now. We also have the 9560 in here. And we had an axle seal leaking on this tractor here back 6 weeks ago. I took this tractor to Kaz, they did it. They did the work on it. However, they had an issue with the brake valve that goes to the spreader. So that is why this tractor is in the shop. Ironically enough, both of these tractors I bought from Sloan Equipment either in, I don't know if it was 19 or 20, but we had one of the numbskulls that went off the road with an 8320, hit a tree, broke this front right wheel or this back right wheel off, and we needed a tractor to replace that. We needed a four-wheel drive as well, and I done went out to the Midwest looking for tractors. I was able to buy both of these, which were both sitting at Sloan Equipment in Assumption, Illinois. Done deal. We bought them both, brought them back here to New York State. This tractor has had an IVT transmission done in it, and you guys know the story on the old 9560R. We had an engine replaced in it in like July of 22. And then in December of 22, it done spit everything out on that engine. Sent a connecting rod out through the block on the left-hand side, and John Deere warranted the 13.5 liter engine that is in it back in like January of last year. We had an axle seal leaking on it, so on and so forth. If you recall in the last video, the third link going to this quick hitch, the end of the pin was broken off. So I had to fix that. The left-hand side pin, the pin that went in this left-hand lift arm, was seized up. It would not move. The right-hand side would move. So I said, you know what? Things aren't going to get any easier, or things aren't going to be any better than getting this to work right now. In order to use this tractor on a merger, for example, we need to have the quick hitch removed. So I went to torching this here last night, or went to working on getting this pin out of this left arm last night, and it took quite a bit of work. I didn't video anything, but you can see the remnants on the floor. I got a lot of molten metal on the floor from the center link pin and the pin from this left arm. The quick hitch was set in place. I do have the pin from the right hand side stuffed in the left hand side, and we have fresh paint on everything. All of the paint here, the original paint, was melted off because I had to heat the third link up, and I also heated up the pin that went on the left hand side to try and remove them. That did not work. And there's a hook here that sets into this place here. There's not a lot of room to be able to get in there and torch anything. Anytime you're using a torch of any kind, whether it's acetylene oxygen or propane oxygen, you have to be able to blow all the way through in order to make that cut. So the 3-point hitch arm or the 2-point hitch arm would have been setting in here tight. That's this guy right here. However, we don't want to injure this ball, this pivoting ball here. There was a tiny little bit of an air gap. It was paper thin on this left-hand side. Again, I heated this end up best I could. I had to reach in from below and above with our big torch. It didn't work. I could not get that pin to move. So I reached in and very carefully cut with the torch down through here. Did the best I could. I was able to blow right through the pin that was on this side. All right. Then I was able to blow in from the left-hand side from here. I was able to cut that whole pin out of the hole. Now on this side, I had to cut like 4 inches, and it took quite a while to do that. I had to let the torch cool down several times because all that heat was coming back on the head of the torch. We got that after a while, and here is all of our molten metal from that project. This pin here is the center pin that we ended up reaching in there and cutting that. We got that out. So we were able to remove that successfully. We have a tiny little injury on this 2-point arm bushing, but it's gonna work. We've got everything cleaned up, painted up, what have you. I had to order a pin for here. I had to order the pin for the top. The bolt that Jared took out of the other side, which I've got this side and that side. I've got the right-hand side. I've got just a regular M12 bolt in there with the end of the pin that we cut off. However, I need to have this in there to hold the pin in on this adjustable category 3, 4, or maybe it's a 4 or 5 link. On the actual third link, I had to cut this guy here, which is this one. I had to cut that off to get that out of the way, and then we reached in there after the fact and nipped the pin off on each side. For this guy right here, however, they do not sell this cocksucker separate from this whole unit. So it is a turnbuckle. I had to heat that up to get this one out. One side's left-hand thread, the other side's right-hand thread. The one I need is the left-hand thread. It's $450 some odd. I can't buy just this end. I've got to buy the whole. Yeah, I got to buy the whole thing. So that's $400 and some. The pin was like $250 for the one side, and then we got another pin that's like $200 and something up top. So we're about $1,000 for replacing some of the parts on this quick hitch. While I was looking up these parts, just the quick hitch frame itself, which is this guy here, minus any of the little giblets that are inside this hitch, lock handles, anything that is removable is $4,700 for this chunk of iron here. It is what it is. So we had to do our best to be able to not disrupt what we did, and I cannot believe that we got away with not injuring this internal bushing on this 2-point hitch arm. The European ones have a J-hook, and this is replaceable. I do not know if the American version, if you can replace just the bushing. This outer ring here is separate from the bushing itself. If we look inside this guy, you could see that it is separate. So I don't know if that is a weld-on unit or a press fit unit or what have you. We're going to go ahead and get our next project in here, which is a spreader, a cone spreader that's got a bent power shaft. I have jammered on long enough here, and we are going to roll into the next project.